Well, hey guys, I'm sorry for the noise blowers in the background. They're doing their gardening work. I guess that's what they do on Thursdays. They do it on the weekends too, which I don't understand why it needs to be done twice, but okay. Um, yeah, I've been having some discussions with Copilot and some of the, maybe another AI or two, where I have found that seeking validation from studios to give me more clients, more students, um, that kind of is not working out. Um, I'm thinking over all the stuff that throughout throughout the 10 years I've been doing this, um, I keep thinking about, well, it always drops off. There's always a lag period, which I'm used to that. But when it falls to the point of only having one or two students in one day and I have to take the hour and a half bus ride down there, Amber's right. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the price. And yes, I know annual performance reviews are saying, okay, you could do this better. All right, well, I'm going to do that better. And I've already started emailing parents and sort of having communication more and all that stuff. But my question is that going to actually move the needle? Because there have been so many times where either I have not moved the needle myself or I'm waiting for people to do it. And I just get to the point where I get sick of asking. I get sick of talking to management, going like, okay, like we're doing all this, but where's the student load? Well, it's not here because blah blah blah. And and it's like days like this in San Dimas. I mean, today is actually going to be a pretty good teaching load for the first time in a while, but one of my students who's an elderly person she's taken an hour lesson and then she's done for the month of June at least. She's canceling, well, I think they said she's canceling her music and arts thing, her subscription or whatever it is. So I'm in the house dealing with that again, of people dropping out. And they always say it's not you. Well, if it's not me, if it's not the way I'm teaching things, if it's not the way I'm doing whatever, then why are the numbers not showing the exact same thing that you're talking about? Why are the numbers always dwindling? I mean, you can give me all this hogwash about the economy and everything. Yeah, fine. But I'm in survival mode right now. And I've had many, many conversations with Copilot about this over the last few weeks, where I've said, I need something else. Granted, I'll still stay with companies that I'm at. They're no problem at all. It's just I can't seek validation from them anymore. And I cannot wait on them to just get new students to come in. It's like I can't do that. Because I've seen that it produces nothing. And time again, if something produces nothing, then I'm basically Don Quixote, I'm being crazy, doing the same thing, getting different results, or expecting different results. That's not how it works. So I've come to the point where it's like Copilot's been, you know, I've been asking it for ideas about what can I do in my current field that could have an impact and, you know, not have a negative impact on me so much. And I ran into this, blog, Making Sense of Sense, where they talked about, several articles regarding these things called printables, which could be mini lessons, could be worksheets, could be templates, anything and everything. If it's printable, you can do it. So I'm getting on this train, and I've even asked Copilot, if I do this, if I commit to this, is this going to be another dead end? Point blank. Am I actually going to get, eyes on the product or eyes on the thing? Because you keep saying to me, well, the things that you create for these teachers or for these people, that'd be a gold mine for teachers who are running out of time to plan a lesson, running out of ideas for their music students or whatever. Okay, well, you say that, okay, fine, well, let's prove it. Homeschooled kids, let's say they're learning music for one of their things, and the parent needs some sort of a plan, some sort of a bundle. Well, they can come to me about that. That's what Copilot's saying. So I'm just kind of like, you know what? All objective indicators are telling me, and Copilot's telling me, that it's time to transit. You're in a transition period right now. And that doesn't mean leave your jobs. Like I said again, I'm not going to leave the jobs. I'm not going to leave in-person teaching right now. No. But I am diversifying. And diversifying often means stepping outside your comfort zone, making something that somebody else could use. And I am all about the creative spirit. That's my nature. I like what Copilot said one time, like yesterday or the day before. It said, well, you're not one of those sit in the studio type teachers and wait for the next student to come in. That's not you. I mean, you're building a catalog of printables. You're building a catalog of sheet music. You're a builder. You're a creator. You're not meant to just sit there and wait. And that's my whole point. What am I going to do for 2 hours while I'm waiting for the next student to come in? I'm going to create something. I'm going to do something. My mind and my imagination is big. But my outside circumstances are not. So, you know what? I need to go into a place where they both exist or they both match. And so that's why at a certain point, I just kind of, flip on standby. And I go, I'll do what they ask me to do up front. I'll do everything that they say to improve on, or at least try. But I'm not counting on it to bring the result that I am hoping for anymore. I'm not, because it hasn't worked. And there are these other up-and-coming platforms too, because online education seems to be growing in different ways. Maybe not online courses so much, maybe, but that's just one side of it. The side that I'm talking about is making the lesson plans creative for the teachers who need to use them. Why not? I've been in teachers' shoes before. I know, you got a beginner student who's coming in 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and you don't have anything planned. or you are struggling to, say, well, how am I going to teach this exact thing in a way that's going to keep these students engaged? That's the big point. That's the big question, is how do I keep them engaged? Because I don't want it to just be in, your 30 minutes, you're out. I mean, I want it to be, a good time, a transformative time for them. And it's like, well, you got to break the cycle. Like my one of my bosses said, I'm sick of hearing Faber and Faber every freaking recital we do. And I agree. So when she first said that, quite a few years ago, my green light bells went off. And that sort of, pushed me in the direction of, actually going from just arranging popular tunes for kids or students to creating my own recital type pieces, like for each level. I mean, I'm in this for the long haul. Okay, so that's what I plan to do. I'm building something quietly. Well, I'm not being quiet about it on this video, but anyway, that's what Copilot was saying to me. You're quietly building up resources that can sustain you later. And I just hope it's right. I hope it's the right fit. I don't want to lose hope. I don't want to switch. I don't want to turn it down. There are too many ways that I can get these lessons out to the world, and why I'm not using them is bonkers. So I'm going to use them. I may start teaching on Udemy again, although I'm not really sure, because lately they've been kind of so-so with teachers and creators. But Classful, PayHip, those platforms, Classful, for instance, I was looking on there and they don't have, just doing my research, and they don't have a lot of music-based either video lessons or teachable resources. And Copilot was looking at this too, and we're both like, well, this is a gold mine. Copilot says, this is a gold mine for you, because you're getting in on the ground floor on Classful early enough that you can make it work. You're going to be grandfathered into this. So it was saying, well, a lot of subjects are scarce, provided for on there, or there's not enough resources on that platform. But also, that leaves room for growth. And it says even rarer are the music lesson plans or mini lessons or printables. So that kind of tells me, go this way. And we will see what happens. I will keep you guys updated on what happens with it all. I'm hoping that this along with the music that I'm writing and arranging, actually, I hope the two of them start to coexist. And I really start to get, fans anywhere, who want, or not even fans, just people who are desperate for, whatever lesson plan will get them through, because lesson planning is difficult. So, but, I'll have a PayHip link in my description later. You can go ahead and check that out. I've got some music related stuff on that store. You can check it out on that PayHip page. I'll give you a link for. I don't think they've approved it in their marketplace yet, but I'll see. It's been a while. But I'm going to keep doing this, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.